Good afternoon, everyone. Just here to share a few thoughts with you on this Good Friday, which is a day that we celebrate what Jesus did for us on the cross, freeing us from all our sins. And I sent around a little thing on WhatsApp, just around the number 40, and how God had had the flood with Noah last for 40 days, that it was 40 years that Moses fled from Egypt. He was 40 days on the mountain when he got the 10 Commandments. The whole Exodus itself lasted 40 years. Jesus fasted for 40 years. There's 40 days between Lent and Easter. And many other things are related to this number 40. In fact, even the year that we're in currently is a summation of 20 and 20, which makes 40. What's also quite interesting is that the word quarantine is actually derived from 40 days. So that's quite relevant in this time of COVID-19. So anyway, going back to the account of Noah, it says in Genesis chapter 17, verse 12, and rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So there was an intentionality there again around using 40 days of rain to wipe the earth of its sin. So God is a God of order. I think that's the key message that I keep getting when I read the Bible is God has a plan. God has a plan during this COVID-19. He has a plan for our salvation as he did with Jesus. I mean, nothing actually happens just out of coincidence. There were 14 generations between Abram and David, 14 generations between David and the Babylonian exile, 14 generations between the Babylonian exile and Jesus, 14, 14, 14. God has a pattern. He has an order to his creation. I mean, even in the account of Noah, when they were saved, Noah waited 40 days before he sent out the birds. But what I really like about the Noah account is contained in Genesis chapter 9 verse 12, where it says, "And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I'm making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between you and me and all the living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Wherever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth." And so we have that lasting reminder every time there's been a rainstorm, which we much needed here in Australia after the floods, and through lots of prayer we've seen that drought broken. But the interesting thing about a rainbow is that to really get the best view of that water reflecting off the droplets, you've got to actually be at an angle of about 40 degrees from the droplets to your eye from the sunlight. So, there's a intentionality even in that aspect in what God does. So I really just want to encourage you this afternoon not to be overwhelmed by things going on around you. We are the light of the world. Jesus has given us hope. We celebrate and reflect on that hope over this Easter weekend. And we can share that hope with other people. God has got this completely in control, and he's a God of order. Thank you very much.